Rose, and this is your weekly vibe and mantra for March the 16th through the 23rd, 2020 AD. And it's been a crazy week. Last week we had a super moon, and people were getting super crazy. This whole coronavirus, stay in the house, attack people for toilet paper, all kinds of stuff like that. Were you one of those people? Probably. If so, your neurological system is going wacky right now. Then that's because Leo is playing some big squares onto the moon, which if you look up at the moon has a very, very bright light on the left side, which represents the left brain. Left brain meaning thinking too much. What happens when we think too much? We start to drive ourselves a little bit bonkers. So the answer to that for this week is bring in the right brain. Start doing some things that involve creativity, things like drawing, painting. I'd stay away from computers if you were someone like me, because that involves thinking way too much. Walking, hugging your dog. Here's my dog. I don't know his name is. And animals, they give unconditional love. People are very conditional. You know, all they can think about is what they want. They don't always think about, the group, the whole. So we're coming into a time of community. As Saturn is moving around, we're seeing things like this. My husband was telling me about people, I think it was in Italy, and it was so quiet that you could hear families singing. There's community. Things are quieting down. This is the type of energy that's going on. And I keep saying I shouldn't say this because now if you live in Toledo, don't go do this until after we do it, but get a generator, we're going to find things are going to, this grid its frequency will slow down. I remember seeing somebody, this was about 19 years ago, who gave me an actual CD about the spheres. It was like all the planets, and it actually had the vibrational frequency of each one of the planets. And I was told, and it was funny, I was told by my guide, and I do have this on a video, and I should pull it out, that there was going to be a lot of viruses. And I'm like, well, okay, there already are viruses. We've had, back in the 1920s, we've had viruses. I mean, it's kind of like a normal thing. We have them, but we make these big deals about them. My aunt, my grandpa's sister, died. It was when I forget what it was that she died of, but it was something that they didn't have a cure for then. And you couldn't go near people. She was in her 20s. Her name was Helen. And now we have this coronavirus. And I remember AIDS epidemic. So we have to remember, there are things that we have to deal with and do deal with. But, the real reason that people get sick is because their immune system is low. And so the real key, and this is when she said this music to the spheres, and I channeled this, and here I am with autoimmune disorders. I'm one of those people, but I had channeled that our adrenal system our adrenals need to be balanced. And our adrenals have everything to do with our autoimmune system. You know how you get you get sore, your neck gets sore, you get tight. It's our whole, it's that stress. It's in our spine, but it's all these different points of the body. So then I was shown a circle of, it was like the flower of life. And if you were to put that pattern over your body and you were to take each one of these vibrations and you could bring those vibrations into your body, what would actually happen is your body would start having like this frequency that is the frequency of creation. This sounds crazy, but I had a scientist who passed away, Nick Ryder. He researched this, and this is absolutely a truth. It's called ionization of the body. And so if you think about it, our Earth spins at an axis. Now let's think about it, all the planets that are around us, the galaxy. How do we not all get sucked in? You know, really, if you think about it, you know, we could all get sucked in, but there are certain frequencies that each planet holds because they make a sound as they spin. Think about everything we do. How does that happen? Through breath, oxygen, okay? The air, photosynthesis. This is how we, you know, things grow. It all ties in together. So sound is a huge, huge thing. So I was told in a channeling, there was a book called Music of the Spheres. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go look for this book called Music of the Spheres, and I found it. And it actually was written in the 1920s. And it talked about the, you know, how it talked about the Earth's axis and different spheres and how spheres work, how sometimes just a tiny bit of movement or even anger or anything negative can throw things totally off. And you know how that is when you're in a certain mode and all of a sudden everything gets thrown off. Well, if we could take a frequency and we can learn how the perfect frequencies of the universe work and somehow get the sounds from each of the planets, that our body could actually balance itself, and we would have to put that frequency in through our adrenals. Sound crazy? Yeah, it sounds crazy. So I'm laying there channeling this. Somebody's writing it down. Actually, Robin. and the amazing thing is she taped it. So we have it on tape too. But I'm like, what is that? So last night, as I was thinking about the weekly Viva mantra, thinking about all of this stuff that's going on, I'm like talking to my manager, Gordon. I said to him, I just found this CD that said, and the CD said the same thing. And the CD played all these different sounds from each of the planets. I said, what if you took the sound that meant, and I didn't even know what it meant, excuse me. It was a sound that he does during a chant. And I said, what if you made that sound? We put that into the CD, and then I was to do a sound. He said, well, the sound that you're talking about means Mother Earth. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. You know, this is just us just going. So we brought these sounds together. Next thing we know, our whole body felt so, I mean, it was a stillness that we both felt. And I'm like, this is the answer. It has to do with, if you think about it, our adrenals. They really do. If we start getting like tight, what happens is our fascia tissue starts tightening, our adrenals are off. Actually, what happens, our nerves get pinched. And then the cells in our body are unable to move, to grow, to receive the proper oxygen they need. Ionization works the same way. I am actually going to have my chorale drawing program, and you'll see the geeky side of me, who is excited to show you about ionization, because in our body, we actually are made of mainly water. When we can properly get our body to a certain frequency, we can actually heal ourselves. So the interesting thing is my friend, he does chanting and he uses the 528 singing bowls. His blood, he has had a lot of health problems. He has major autoimmune disorder, and this is the cause of every. If you look, every disease has the root, which is an autoimmune disease. They have studied this now. They know this. So he actually will work with chanting. His blood, everything is perfect. They're perfect. I mean, like, it's unbelievable. And so if we can bring this in, we can fight off these viruses, because a lot of times, children are getting these and they're able to. Think about a mother. She's producing. Now, I really want you to think about this. Breast milk. Do you know there's a vibration? I know when I was feeding my babies, I could feel a vibration. And the vibration is love. Okay? It's absolute love, but it's also a vibration when the baby is receiving that milk. And that child is protected. There are certain things in the milk that are produced that help the baby's immune system. Now, if you're a doctor, I love hearing from doctors or people, just so you can confirm what I'm saying. Frequency. So when they've done studies and they've taken cells, they took cells out of a person that was really ill. Bruce Lipton talks about this. And a person that was really healthy. They put them in petri dishes. They put the cells of the healthy person over in one environment and the sick person in the other. The healthy person they surrounded with a lot of negativity, these cells. They found that the cells started reacting independently, like their own community, and got sick with the negative. Healthy ones, they got healthier. So think about your body and think about, I know 100%, and I say this all the time, that the stress, I just don't want it. I don't like it. And I think that people that live out in the middle of nowhere live to 100 years old. They're 100 years old because they're not dealing with electrical frequencies, and they're not dealing with the stress, stresses of, got to get this done. They're sleeping properly. Sleep is a frequency. So we actually are going to be recording a musical piece. And I'm excited because I have a friend that's a scientist, and I'm going to give that to him. And he uses music with plants. And I said, well, do it with plants, but I would like to take it a step further. Let's do it with people. He goes, if you want to do that, Kimmie, we'll do it. And I'm like, thank you. So I'm going to actually, once we get this together, you'll be able to go to my website, KimmieRose.com, or download my app, Kimmie Rose, and you can just press a button and listen to it and try it yourself. It's not something that I think that should be, you should have to pay for. It should be something that should be offered to everyone, because we all deserve to be greeted with our natural creation frequency. And that's something to think about every day, because when you have people in your life and when you get angry at them or you get upset at them, ask yourself before you get angry or upset, what is their true intention? Did they do this to just make me mad? Or where are they coming from? Because every time we put negative energy out there or negative frequencies out there, we're almost like killing the other person in essence, because we're pulling them down. And we do it to ourselves too. And I always say that when I feel myself, I get really angry, afterwards I am exhausted. And my parents said to me yesterday, you can say really mean things. And I said, yes, that's because I'm intuitive, so I know what points to hit, but it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to do that. I feel empowered for maybe even, I would say at the most an hour, and then after a while, I get drained. I get really drained. And that's what this week is feeling like, as the ego wants to take hold of you and wants to lash out. Remember, you're lashing out at yourself too. So It's about frequency. So think about it when you're driving down the road and you know you're just in a good mood. Now somebody slams the horn on you. How do you feel? Throws you off. You don't have to let those things affect you if you can take the time to center yourself, to meditate, and to create this, what we call ionization of the body. And that's how animals, you know, if you hear birds, they're singing in the morning, they're going about, it's a rhythm. Crickets at night make sound according to the Mother Earth. So can we create that, and that is what's happening energetically. So yes, you're gonna have people testing you this week. Remember, your personal Judases they're always your greatest teachers, because what they're doing, just like in Buddhism, you learn tolerance. You have to learn to not accept it. That's a big thing that I've been doing, learning not to accept it, because I've got all kinds of Pisces in my chart, and I'm like this big human sponge. And a lot of times people don't understand, why do you get hurt or upset? I don't even know why sometimes. I just feel things. If somebody I'm connected to is lying to me or doing things, I will react. And I don't know why I'm reacting. So I would say, you might as well tell me, otherwise I'm going to be sick. You know, something's going to affect me. It just is the way I am. We're all different. And so think about that. Everybody's different, yet we're all the same. So we're all interconnected. So we can watch the news and create a gigantic frequency of fear and lower our immune system. Or we can create, as Carl Jung talks about, put it into the collective, and let's get rid of that. It's a choice. It's your choice. So here is your mantra for the week. Just taking a moment, closing your eyes, and I'm just going to start it with a frequency of That's my sound, because I can feel air, and it's just moving in my head all the way down my hara line. So, closing your eyes, I am present in my body, and surrounding me always is a barrier. It does not separate me from others, but it keeps me in harmony with myself. I am safe. I am protected. And if you can just take that in, even just say those words, I am safe, I am protected. Chant them, feel them, let your body talk to your body. All these things, bringing back some things that I remember when I had some health problems. I would talk to myself. I would do it, and I was able to get rid of endometriosis that way. I'm thinking, maybe I should be working on these things. But those things aren't going to work unless we get sleep, rest. And I will honestly say that's a challenge I have, and I need to work on that, work on loving myself, and a lot more. And the only way I can really do that, I think, is to love myself and not feel selfish, because I worry a lot of times about other people. So it's not selfish to think of yourself. And this week, take a little bit of that Leo into your life. Leos like to be about them. You can be about you. If you're interested in more in getting a reading, guidance, taking a class, and also we have a really, really cool thing that's going on. If you go over and download Kimmie Rose, you can get a free reading. Lots of things going on. You go to your app store or you go to your Google Play Store and download the app Kimmie Rose, or call 734-854-1514 or KimmieRose.com. Peace to you. Thank you and have a wonderful